Hi, I'm David Rockwell, set designer for Legally Blonde, and we're here in my conference room where we did most of the work with Jerry Mitchell and Ken Posner and the rest of the creative team on Legally Blonde. And I'm going to walk through some of the models and some of the ideas and move things around and try and talk about how the physical production supports the story and supports Jerry's vision of Legally Blonde coming to life on stage. So for 23, 24 years, I've been working in New York City as an architect, focused on places inspired by theater, restaurant, hotels, and really have spent my life as a student of theater. And in many cases, the places that we do are inspired by ideas from theater, the power of transformation, the value of live experience, the fact that theater is ephemeral, it's only there when you're there. We came into New York when I was 11 and saw Fiddler on the Roof. And I didn't know anything about Boris Aronson, who I've since become a fan and a collector of, and I think is one of the greatest collaborative artists of the 20th century in any category. What I knew was Jerome Robbins' movement, the music, and the design seamlessly told a compelling story. And that's been the driving force in my interest in design ever since. I had seen the movie and was familiar with it. And my memory of it was quite different. Actually, my memory of it was mostly the pink world of Elle Woods. And of course, in the show, she talks about pink being her signature color. And the journey of the show is from the sunny Southern California, juicy couture-inspired world of the West Coast, in her journey to the more kind of serious, rigid world of the East Coast and of Harvard, and her transformation of that world. There's 22 locations in the show. It needs to, and when you hear the music, certainly when you hear the first number, "Oh My God, You Guys," which takes place in 3 or 4 locations in the one number, it calls for a physical solution where the sets are as choreographed as the movement of the people. And the reason we did the animation is to get the timing of this right, particularly the next transition, where those have to close, and when they close, they give a signal to the person operating the flies that it's safe for this thing to fly out and the windows won't catch. The piece goes in the floor, which allows the door to come down stage. The show is actually an incredibly complex show because so much of it depends on movement. Most of the transitions that take place move in 2 or 3 directions at once. So there's an irising down and there's things coming up so that the pictures are assembled as quickly as the music and the story and the direction demands. We start out with researching the character and trying to define their world. The world of Elle Woods is inspired by many things. It's inspired by the work of Dorothy Draper and her kind of fabulous sense of style. And it's equally inspired by research that we did around color and mood and attitude that's very juicy couture, lots of hot pinks, but also bold pattern. There's a crispness to the show which really was mandated, I think, by the material and by Jerry's approach. The opening image of the show is the show curtain. And the show curtain is rippled pink satin in a kind of nod to I Love Lucy. And that pink satin drape supports a necklace. And the necklace has Elle Woods on it, a silver necklace. And in some ways, it expresses the fact that this is a love story. And it puts that up front. It certainly puts Elle Woods' signature color up front. And it's surrounded by a glowing pink frame. The show takes place in 2 very different worlds, and those worlds collide, the Southern California world, the West Coast, and the East Coast Harvard world. The solution was to have those portals be light boxes that are covered with painted scrim. In the front of them, the painted scrim is painted to look like carved wood. So when those are front lit in the Harvard scenes, we're framing the action with these 4 carved wood panels, and when they're backlit, they allow us to kind of express the vivid world of Elle, as well as the Ireland number when we go to the Hair Affair for Paulette. And then we work in very small scale loose model because it allows the director to get in there and play with it. I'll give you an example of one of those transitions. What Jerry wanted to have happen is to do a reverse shot. So we see her being kicked out, we see her leave the classroom, and then we see the exterior of the classroom so that Callahan can close the doors on her. What this model allowed us to do was figure that out in some detail, particularly the way these pieces would come downstage in curved tracks and then move upstage and slide off. And as they're doing that, this door is coming downstage. It's actually going over an elevator through a chain drive and coming down. These then go off. These pieces slide in and create the exterior of Harvard. So that's a case where the only way to really work out how that's physically going to function in space and what kind of playing area that's going to give Jerry as a director, choreographer, is to start out in small scale model, start to work out the image in the piece. This is our box of 1/2-inch pieces that fit into the model. One of the things we had to really develop with the shop, with Show Motion and with Joe Forbes, who did the painting, is the wood grain and getting wood grain that was different for each scene. So you can see the courtroom bleachers with working door. It's hard to convince my kids that this is not something to come to the office and play with, but that's a very delicate door. These are the paint elevations that the pieces are made from. So the paint shop uses these, and these become the Bible. So at the same time that we're developing 1/4-inch model and starting to develop the artwork, we're also looking at some of the smaller scale pieces that define her world. In fact, this is the card that everyone signs in the opening number, Elle's card, and became something that was quite informative for a lot of the design of the show. The thrill is the doing of it. The thrill is the being part of creating this live experience, and so I'll be there trying to modify and change things right up till they take away my pencil.